Yo, what up, guys? Welcome back to Fandom Frequency. It's your boy Kenny bringing you another spoiler filled review. Today, we're discussing Edgar Wright's latest flick, Last Night in Soho, what you saw on the thumbnail. Before we go any further, click the like, click the subscribe button down below this video. If you're catching us on the YouTubes, whether you're a returning viewer, just became a fan of the show, a fellow fandom freak, if you will, or if you just stumbled upon us looking for a review of the movie in question, you know what I'm saying? Welcome. Make sure you join our community and keep checking out all our latest and greatest episodes and get us going straight into your feed so you get all the latest and greatest fandom frequency goodness. If you prefer the audio and you're listening to us over there, thank you so much for checking out the show. Keep doing that. Click the download before you go. It helps the show out immensely. It opens up millions of doors of possibilities for us. With no further ado, let's go on into the review. And coming into this film, man, this is one of my most anticipated flicks of the year, no doubt. I'm a huge Edgar Wright fan, from Scott Pilgrim, Cornetto Trilogy, Baby Driver. You say Edgar Wright's name's on it, I'm going to check it out. And from the minute they announced this flick, starring Anya Taylor-Joy, it being a straight-up horror thriller type movie and all that good jazz, sign me up, shut up, take my money right now, sign me up. So, did the film live up to the hype, or at least my personal hype? Is it everything I was hoping for? Did I love it? Did I hate it? Did I fall somewhere in between? Luckily, I fell somewhere in between. Didn't love it, didn't hate it. I certainly enjoyed the hell out of it, and there's a lot to praise with this movie. So let's go straight into those positives, man, and straight up from the jump, all the technical elements of this movie, and especially going with the visuals and the cinematography, the editing, the way that Edgar Wright is moving the camera. It is so damn well done, man, and the visuals are gorgeous. This is one of the most visually stunning movies I've seen this year and in several years, you know what I'm saying? Especially within the horror thriller genre. This film is stunning, man, and it's definitely pulling on some of those, Argento, Giallo kind of vibes, you know what I'm saying? Harkening to films like Suspiria and stuff like that. So all my fellow horror nerds out there who know what I'm talking about, that's definitely prevalent here and done very well and done in the same kind of way, but in its own style, in that Edgar Wright style. And speaking of Edgar Wright, my man stepped completely out of what he's known for to do something completely different and original somewhat, and I think he pulls it off for the most part, man. I think him doing a straight horror thriller type film, which is leaning more into the psychological thriller type elements, but there's that supernatural tinge to it. He's definitely pulling it off very well for the most part, man. And I think for a director who's known for a certain thing, it's really cool to see him stepping out and doing something different and I can't talk right now. And it's good to see him step out, do something different, and mostly succeed at doing it and pulling it off. You know what I'm saying? And for the most part, the cast is all around great, man. Mainly my girl, Anya Taylor-Joy. She is a motherfucking star, man. Like, from top to bottom throughout this entire film, she is my favorite thing about it, man. Like, from the seductive and even, the alluring side of her character, Sandy, and just the more menacing and creepy elements are brought through as well, and just the showmanship of her wanting to be out there as an actress, a performer, and that whole side of her performing, singing, dancing. Anya Taylor-Joy kills it and knocks it out of the park. You know what I'm saying? When she sings that old school joint downtown, you know what I'm saying? She does a fantastic job, and she's always killing it in every role I've seen her in, and I'm a huge fan of hers, and I really just can't say wait to see what she does in the future. And I think she's just gonna keep leveling up, man, because she does with every single thing I see her in. And I'm gonna have to check out that Queen's Gambit. You know what I'm saying? I've been sleeping on it a little bit, but I'm gonna check it out eventually. And going on from there, man, Thomas and Mackenzie, the main character of the film, our main protagonist, is really awesome in this film as well, man. She has to go through a wide range of emotions as an actress, and she, for the most part, I think, really pulls it off, man, and she's really good in this film. And I'm not familiar with her previous work, but I'm gonna have to check it out because she was really, really good, man. And all around, the cast was great, man. And when it comes to not just the acting as well, almost forgot to mention. Let me check my notes here. Da-da-da-da-da. Oh yeah, and on the visuals as well, I wanted to mention how seamless they made it between Anya Taylor Joy's character and Thomas and Mackenzie's character being in like the same shot, but being in from like two different perspectives, as in Thomas and Mackenzie's character being in the reflection as Anya Taylor Joy is seen walking down the stairs, you know what I'm saying? And all these different camera tricks and the way that it's just seamless, the way that the CGI or however they're doing it is put to screen, it is done so well. And even though it's stuff you've kind of seen before, to me it feels like something kind of new at the same time because you don't see stuff like this all the time, every day in every film. So whether it's been done before or not, it's definitely fresh and something I really enjoyed in the film and thought is a very dope visual trick and a very visual a very cool way to visually tell a story and get across something very creative, but also helps and serves your story at the same time. So that was really awesome all around. And when it comes to the soundtrack and the sound design of this movie, it is phenomenal. I love pretty much all the tracks in this movie, man. It was really good stuff. A lot of these songs I kind of heard growing up and whatnot, but you got some deep cuts in there. So I hope they sell this out there on vinyl or whatever, because it's a really dope soundtrack overall, man. And the sound design and all that good stuff is done so well. And just the visual effects and the way that it's paired with the sound design is so well to give you that, out of body, out of mind, that really surreal, psychedelic experience. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the main character is going through, Eloise and all that good stuff. And I really love the arc with, for the most part, with that character Ellie, played by Thomas and Mackenzie. And I like the journey that that character was going on and what she went through in the film is very relatable, and the things she was dealing with in the past, as in, losing loved ones to suicide and dealing with mental health issues and stuff like that. And even though, as I'll get into more in the negatives, it wasn't explored as much as I would have liked, I still like those things being brought into the film, and some of those elements and those themes and those subjects getting brought up. It's still interesting and still makes the characters likable and relatable, and you definitely want to root for them, you know what I mean? But enough of the praise. I gotta move into some of these mixed and negative elements of the movie, like the final reveal of Diana Rigg's character being Anya Taylor Joy, the older version of her character, Sandy. While I did see that part kind of coming, it was kind of weird how Ellie is always seeing her being the victim, as in her getting killed by Matt Smith's character, Jack, who I didn't mention earlier. He's awesome as well. Matt Smith, anyways. But yeah, so you get all this stuff playing in, and when you get the whole reveal at the end that she's the one that actually killed him, not the other way around, my question is, why did she see that vision that way in the first place? Why is she seeing these visions anyway? It's hinted at that she has this like ability or this innate kind of power or supernatural thing that she can connect to people from beyond or whatever. But for me, it's left so ambiguous. It's a little too many questions left dangling in the air and too many plot threads that were not really addressing or fleshing out by the end of the movie. You know what I'm saying? And just the overall thing with the twist also doesn't make sense with her being the killer the whole time, because it kind of raises certain questions about Ellie even being in contact with this woman and stuff like that. Like, is it meant to be, or is it all just a coincidence? You know what I mean? But why is she having this connection to her in that way? Does she know she's having that connection? Like, I don't know. I just thought that was really left too many plot threads were left dangling in the air by the end of the movie. And for me, it just kind of soured my experience a little bit throughout the second half of the film. You know what I'm saying? And the second act in general is a bit too repetitive for me, in the fact that Ellie sees something weird, she runs away, and people don't get what's going on. She doesn't explain it, and it just repeats and repeats and repeats for like a good 25, 30 minutes, it feels like. And for me, it was a bit frustrating and kind of sucked out a little bit of the enjoyment I was having from the first act going into that segment of the film. You know what I mean? So that just some of those clunky elements I thought could have been done a little better. But overall, I think Edgar Wright really delivered a really cool film, a unique film, and for the most part, he succeeds in most of what he was trying to do. And he really recreates the 60s and all that good stuff and that whole time period. And just the overall visual aesthetic is well done, stellar, really good stuff. The tension and suspense is dialed up to 11 almost all the time when it's in there, and when it's done effectively. You're on the edge of your seat. So I recommend this to all my fellow horror thriller fans out there, and also my fellow Edgar Wright fanatics. But if you're not into the more weird, trippy, creepy type films, thrillers, and horror movies and stuff like that, this may not be for you. And I gotta warn some of my fellow Edgar Wright fans, this is very different. This is not the Cornetto trilogy, so keep that in mind when you go in to see this. Temper your expectations in that way, which I did. But overall, the film's a little disappointing, but it's really well done for the most part. I give it an 8 out of 10, man. I highly recommend it. What did you think of Last Night in Soho? To all my fellow fans out there that checked out the movie, let me know what you thought about it down below. Do you agree, disagree? Did you hate it, love it, best of the year, worst of the year? Where does it fall for you? And make sure you continue to support the show like you guys have. It really means the world to us, you know what I'm saying? Our first video, we had our first video go past 100 views here on the channel, so that's exciting stuff. And I'm talking about our Scream trailer breakdown. We got a few more of those trailer breakdowns coming for y'all. I got those in the works right now. We cooking up, baby. So stay tuned, don't sleep, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.